Welcome to Winchester City Mill. On our tour today, I'll be explaining what's happening in the video for our blind and partially sighted guests. I'm approaching a large old red brick building. A fast flowing stream runs beneath it. So I'm really excited to find out all about it. How does it work? And what's it been up to for the last 1,000 years or so? Hi Paul.
Hi Aki, it's lovely to meet you.
And you. So I hear you're one of the volunteer millers here.
Yes, I've been volunteering here for about 9 years now.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about the mill?
The mill here is on the banks of the Itchen, one of Hampshire's chalk streams. We know that there's been a mill here since Saxon times, but the mill was rebuilt in 1744. Eventually though, around about 175 years ago, it fell into decline, and by 1928 it was close to collapse, and a local fundraising team gifted it to the National Trust.
So I'm fascinated to see how the mill actually works.
Let me show you. This bag of grain is what turned up on the doorstep. Let's go inside and I'll show you how it works. So this is where the grain bags come in.
I'm walking into a high-ceilinged room with exposed beams, brick walls, and there's a raised platform. Why is the room so high?
Well, historically there would have been a grain storage floor all across this whole area.
So where do you store the grain now?
We store the grain in these chests over here. On top of the chest we have the grain, and the mill converts it into white flour, which is mostly starch, and that's the food source. That's the important carbohydrate. The water mill does this process on an industrial scale, and that's the trick of milling.
Great. Well, let's go and see that. We're walking into an island with a paved area and a garden just behind it. Now, I'm not the expert, but we're not at the milling bit yet, are we?
No. I just wanted to show you this beautiful space here, and Jerry's here to tell you all about it.
This is the island garden. It was redesigned in 2023. When it was a working mill 200 years ago, the garden would have looked very different. We've got a map that shows there was a piggery and some stables. The garden attracts a lot of wildlife, but our favourite visitors are the otters.
It's a lovely spot, and especially with the river running either side.
Indeed, and that's why the mill is here. Let's go underneath and see what's going on there.
We're underneath the mill at water level. Wow, this looks powerful!
Yes, indeed. The mill actually narrows the river, and the river drops as well.
Yeah, so this is where all the action happens then.
Yes, if you look here, you can see the skeleton of an old water wheel, and you can see the sluice gate behind. When we open the sluice, this channel comes to life.
But it's not working today.
No, we had to stop milling due to rot in all the timber framing.
So then what happens?
I'll show you the gearing.
We're in front of a large set of wooden wheels.
This is the engine room of the mill. With the water wheel turning the shaft, these gears come to life, and they magnify the power and pass it up to the runner millstone above, which is on top of this shaft.
That's amazing. But where does the grain come in?
That's upstairs. Let's go up there now and have a look.
We're back in the main milling room with the raised platform. Okay, so this is where all our power is going.
Yes, indeed. And I'm going to introduce you now to Nick, who's assistant miller today. He's going to continue the story of the grain.
Hi Aki.
Hi Nick.
Good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Yep, so this is the mill enclosure. This is where we make the flour. My job today is to look after the grain. And so the first thing I have to do is get it up to the top. So I use these sacks here. They're really heavy. So we're very lucky. We have a crane. Paul's up there on the platform. He's going to take the sacks off the hoist and then empty the sack into the grain bin. We then let the grain come down the slide into the hopper. Under the hopper, is another shoot called a shoe. And the shoe shakes backwards and forwards. And that drops the grain into the centre of the stones.
So where are the stones?
The stones are inside that round wooden box. There are two stones, one above the other, and the flour is made between the two stones. I can't show you that because the cover's in place, but we have a model where I can show you. The grain is drawn between the stones along grooves cut in them. Then the resulting flour is carried down the chute back down below us.
Wow, there's our magic trick.
That's not magic, Eki. That's purely great technology. Once we've got the flour, we then package it up and we sell it to the public in our shop. And I tell you, it makes absolutely wonderful bread.
That was genuinely fascinating to gain an understanding of an industry operating more than 1,000 years ago that supported this very city. It's just a privilege that we can still see all of this today and in such a beautiful setting.